So, hi everyone, I'm Meg and I'll be hosting the Minx Fan Club interview. Today we are delighted to have the marvelous Signe Jeppesen with us. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I definitely butchered that. So, how often do people mispronounce it? Obviously, it happens a lot.
Well, I would probably say at least every damn stream I get mentioned in, which would probably be every second or something like that from all of the streamers I do associate with. Like, the only one who can probably say it, I would say, would be Isik. But he kind of
Yeah.
makes a habit out of just teasing me anyway and calling me other shit, so...
Yeah, I only asked because I remember that in a few videos, I believe, recently, that Minx admits that, she says it wrong all the time,
Yeah, well, if you would ask other Scandinavian people who are not Danish, it would be right, but we just have the weirdest fucking language, so I accept everyone's versions. It's fine. I don't even care anymore.
All right. You're from Denmark, right? Have
Yeah.
you lived there your entire life?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, what's it like there?
I mean, from the American perspective, it would be like, oh, such a socialist country. What are you doing, Marxists? I don't know, but to me, this is like, I am probably very biased, I would say, but this is, for me, the ideal place to live, or in general, Scandinavia. Because I feel like when you see it in contrast to like America and other European countries, it's like, in America, I know a lot of people who like struggle to just have a everyday thing going, and they struggle with college and getting a job is not easy, and here is just like you don't have that kind of struggle at all. The elephant in the room with Denmark, as many of people know, it's the thing that puts people off is our high taxes and such, but it really does, for me, I feel, pay back through an enormous amount of welfare that we do get. We don't have to worry about not having medicine for diseases, and we can always get into a school. It's not a problem, and we are being taken pretty good care of by the state. You have to fuck a lot up here to actually end up on the streets.
Buy me a ticket. Lord.
Just adopt all of you people who live in American, so just, come live with me. Everything's shit over there. Come here.
So, obviously, then, Danish is the primary language in Denmark. What was it like learning English? Was it difficult in any way?
We do have it in our schools, in primary schools and the gymnasium, which I attended to, but I wouldn't give it the credit for my skill in English. I did not give a shit in school at all. What did do it for me would probably be the period afterwards when I got a lot into like YouTube, and I got a lot of into gaming, and like the internet doesn't really cater a lot to people who don't speak English, so you just gotta have to kind of learn it or deal with not having it. So I just kind of spent my time taking my time to learn it, basically.
Right. Yeah, on the topic of that, Minx, obviously your channel is all English, and you being non-English, speaking Danish, how did you come across Minx's channel?
I actually did come across her from another Danish person.
Oh.
Not like a friend or anything who recommended, but through a comic artist that a lot of people probably found her through at that time, who is called Human, which you're probably familiar with. She's the one who made the Scandinavia and the World comics.
Oh.
And she had like a little excerpt of a comic where Minx's Amnesia playthrough was referenced to. So I was like, that game sounds kind of interesting, so I should check that out. And it linked me over there, and I shit my pants, and I got completely addicted to it. And I got hooked and watched all of other Minx's stuff, and that was way back when she had her old channel only. So yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually. So a lot of people that are probably going to be watching this probably aren't too familiar with who you are or what you do to contribute for Minx's channel. Can you explain to us what it is that you do?
Yeah. Primarily, I do the little thumbnails for the videos, like the thing you click on when you actually want to watch a little picture. I do those for a lot of the gaming videos, and then besides that, I do I'm a little bit of a jack of all trades, I suppose. When she needs a logo for something, I kind of do that, and when she needs a banner or an outro card, or if she just needs a t-shirt design or something, I kind of just do whatever Minx needs in terms of art.
Yeah, I mean, your thumbnails, they, honest to God, they put me in awe. I could never fathom creating such like fantastic, like the art itself, like with the strokes and the shading, it's so realistic. Well, you know what I mean. I'm not one for words, but
I'm happy you think that.
it's crazy. I sincerely appreciate everything you do for Minx, and your art itself is just, oh my God, it's just so good. So, what do you remember the first time that you actually made a thumbnail for Minx?
It was back at a very old channel when I was a teenager at that point, I think, way back, and she still did her, I don't remember, but she made a shout out to some artists, and was like, oh, I could use some thumbnails, and up until then she hadn't used like a lot of different ones for her stuff. Like she had one for each series, for example, and did like very, very much. So I thought, hey, I could probably do that. I do art, I could try. So I just like kind of poked her on YouTube, and I did one single title card for her, which was like an info shout out thing where she sat with her laptop and such, and then it kind of just blew over and nothing else happened until, let's see, it was probably in 2013 where she had started. I don't know if her new channel had started yet, and I had kind of been lurking. I didn't really get involved with the community at all at that point. I just watched her. And I had a good friend at the thing. I don't know if we met through Minx in some kind of way. I don't remember, but we talked about her. And she was like, oh, I do some art for her, like, regularly. I could, like, give her your Skype if you like. And I was just, like, screaming inside, like, oh, shit. Minx, my Skype. So, I said, yeah, sure, we can do that. And she probably gave it for Minx. And at some point, a time afterwards or something, Minx wrote to me on Skype, and I just fangirled all over the place, and I started doing some art for her. And I think the very first one was for a prop hunt video. That was like my testing title card for her to see if she liked my style and stuff.
Yeah.
And it kind of just stuck, and I produced like so many title cards for her in that period. It was like, it took a while before she started doing it, commissioning me as not such. Yeah.
So Minx has been using, thumbnails made by fans from her Art for Minx Tumblr page for a while. How do you think that helps Minx connect to her fan by, giving them the opportunity to create a thumbnail for one of her videos?
I mean, it's like you say, it's an opportunity, and I think it's so great, honestly, that there's so many YouTubers out there who gets everything done professionally, like everything, all of it, from one person, maybe from a higher team or something. I love how Minx adds almost all of the artists in a community, if they want to put their thumbnails in her videos, they are pretty likely to do so. She doesn't exclude people because of a style or because of quality. She just kind of lets everyone have a go at it, and it's just so great, and people get to do something for a person that they look so much up to, and it's the best thing you could actually do. I think it's so great. Get all the fan stuff in there, let them feel like they're appreciated, and Minx is really good at that. I like that. It's so great.
So, what was it like to see your thumbnails for a Minx video? How did you feel? Were you excited? Were you nervous?
I was over the moon. I remember I was so excited. My art on a Minx video, holy shit! I was such a fangirl at the time, and I still really look up to her. But now she's more I kind of feel like she's more of a person now instead of some unreachable YouTube star, which I just feels just so much more casual now, and that's awesome. And at that time, I remember the video when it got up on, and I just checked the comment section all the freaking time to check, does people notice? Do they see it? Did they like it? And sometimes there would come, sometimes there wasn't, but in the end I was just so happy that Minx wanted my stuff, and I'm still really excited about it every time. She's like, oh, I like that, nice job, and it just makes me giddy inside. It's so good. I hope that every artist gets to feel something like that.
Oh, for sure. It must be a great feeling, obviously.
It is.
So, do you have an all-time favorite thumbnail that you've made?
I have some that I feel are better than others in quality, but I have a favorite one that's based on more by what it did of an impact, I would say. It's kind of really stupid, actually, but it was for her GTA videos, one of them, where I drew Minx, or Minx's avatar, as I usually did. But the difference in this one, as I quickly found out in the comments and such, was that I had made, like, the most insane cleavage on this avatar. Holy shit. And I don't really notice myself because I like drawing boobs. Boobs are fun to draw. And I usually draw on a Minx because she doesn't care. She likes boobs too. It's fine. But the comment section, it just blew up. Like, people went crazy. For the first time ever, there had been more comments about the clickbait and, oh, the boobs, and I came for the cleavage and stuff like that. And at the time, I was really pissed. And I thought people were being idiots, because why would you call this clickbait? It's a picture of a game you know very well does not look anything like this. Why would you expect actual boobs? You are an idiot. Now I look back at it with a certain fondness. I just thought it was insanely funny how people overreacted over this goddamn picture. And granted, looking back, it is one insane cleavage. I feel like if Minx liked it, then it's fine, and I shouldn't feel self-conscious over that. So now I just think it's a funny story, and I remember that one a little bit better than the others.
So how long does it usually take to make these thumbnails?
It would kind of depend how much Minx need and how urgently she needs it. I would probably limit myself to about 2 hours tops for doing each one of them.
Oh, wow.
But if I just have one once in a while, if it's she doesn't need much from me, then I tend to put some more work into it and a little bit more love, because this is what represents me for this time of whatever, and I want it to look a little bit better than usually. I don't want to just produce shit, like shitting it out. So I could probably go for 4 hours tops on those I really put a lot of work into, which is rarely I do that long.
Right. What programs do you use?
I use Photoshop CC for my title cards. I'm a really, really messy artist. I would prefer not to ever touch line art ever, perfect line art, because I simply cannot deal with how smooth and clean and everything has to be perfect before I can go to the next step, so I never do that. I kind of just draw a sketch and then I maybe some really, really light sketchy line art on top, and then I just pour over it with paint and colors and effects and shit, and sometime, if I'm lucky, it will look like a picture.
Do you have a favorite thing to draw besides what we talked about earlier?
Oh, you mean that has boobs? Actually, my favorite thing would probably be to draw faces. I really love to draw very expressive faces. But in terms of Minx stuff, the thing I love the most is when she just comes to me and she says, okay, I got this really gritty, gruesome horror game shit that you can just go ahead and play with and do whatever the fuck you want. You get the artistic freedom. And I can just do the most gory and bloody and horrible thing I could ever want to. I love doing creepy stuff and gory stuff. And I remember one of my favorites of that kind would be when she had I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream.
Oh,
and I got to make
series.
one where Minx's face was melted, her mouth was completely gone in goo, and she was drowning in all of this liquid flesh and shit, and I just loved to do it. It was great. So yeah, really creepy stuff.
When did you start drawing, for fun or professionally? Or
I don't think I have ever not drawn.
Oh.
I've always, I live in a very artistic household. The females in my family has always been good at drawing and good at painting. So I've always been that's just the favorite pastime thing to do as a kid. And my sister was incredibly good at it at that time. So I just copied her, and eventually I kind of leaped over her and got more ambitious about it. But I don't think I actually wanted to do it professionally before, in my late teens, where I started doing digital work and felt more confident in my stuff and started to doing shit that was not anime. Well, professionally, I did not do any commissions before Minx. I did not have the confidence for it at that time. So that kind of helped me too to get my stuff out there, and I guess she kind of helped me at that point too. And now I get somewhat regular commissions.
This is an off the record question, but when you were in school, did you have a specific doodle that you went to when you were bored in class?
It's bad that I'm going to say boobs again. No, just Just like
Oh my
I was
god.
never good at drawing like male, so I always made these like the flowing female, pretty princessy stuff. That was kind of the deal back then. So that was kind of what I did, but I never drew the head because I wasn't good at drawing the head. So it was kind of sometimes just torsos hanging, and it looked kind of morbid, but that was just because it wasn't done.
All right, back on topic. Besides drawing, do you have any other hobbies that you enjoy?
If I had to pick one other hobby except drawing, it would probably be to play video games or watch let's plays and such video game related stuff.
So games. Do you have any that are particularly your favorite?
Well, I have a lot of favorites, but my tops that will probably never be shaken off that. Yeah, my top favorite would probably be the Portal franchise and the Bioshock franchise.
Oh boy, I know nothing about Bioshock. So late in 2016, the entire trilogy was re-released as a remastered edition. What do you think of gaming companies that remaster some of their games?
I think, at least with games such as Bioshock, I think it's important because, as you said, it's aged very well, but it needs an upgrade once in a while to stay relevant. I really think that new gamers and such, they should not at all miss the opportunity to play Bioshock because, the graphics are a little bit like they've dated, and it shouldn't be like that because it's just one of the best games ever, in my opinion. And play it and remaster it as many times it takes. Keep doing it 100 years into the future. It deserves it. It's such a good game.
So, do you have any favorite games from 2016?
Well, as everyone else and their mothers, I do play Overwatch a lot. It's just the perfect game to just turn off your brain to and just farm some loot boxes. Whatever. It's a good game. And besides that, I did enjoy Vermintide a lot as well, which is like this almost Left 4 Dead kind of thing in the Warhammer universe, which was really great too. And what else? I've played some of Darkest Dungeon as well. It's a really good game, but it's stressful and you need some time off it, definitely. And then in the later, I would say Roller Coaster Tycoon would probably be the one I've played the most besides Overwatch. It's a pretty good tycoon game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are there any 2017 releases that you're looking forward to?
It would mainly be a lot of the indie games that comes out. I don't actually know a lot of the titles, but it has some really good things that I think I'll definitely check out. And then I guess I'm kind of excited for the next Kingdom Hearts game as well. Although I do have some catching up to do on that franchise. And I must admit that I have kind of hopped onto the Mass Effect Andromeda hype as well. I've not really played lots of the other games. I've played the first and a bit of the second, and then I was like, this is kind of boring. But the Andromeda looks like it's a fresh take on the series, and I'm kind of excited to check it out.
Yeah, my stepbrother's obsessed with Mass Effect. He's played all of the games at least 1 million times. But on the topic of, big game releases, recently Resident Evil 7 was released. What did you think of Minx's playthrough?
It's probably a really unpopular opinion, but I actually think that's the most entertained I've ever been by a Resident Evil game ever. Wow. I do not at all enjoy the other games, but this one, it just did something for me. I think it's probably because it had so much more horror in the other ones. I always thought they were kind of boring and I didn't really care about the characters, and oh my god, Jill Valentine is almost naked again. I feel like it took away all of that sexy fanboy stuff, and it just gave us grit and story, and it was great, and I loved it, and I will watch it again, and I wish I wasn't such a pussy, or I would play it myself.
Yeah. Well, I personally loved her playthrough of it, obviously, too. It was the whole game itself was just, it was crazy, and it was so intense at sometimes.
Yeah, but I love it.
Yeah, oh my god. But on the topic of Minx, what kind of an impact do you believe you have when making a thumbnail?
Well, I hope that I do what the thumbnail is supposed to do, like entice people and kind of lure them to the video is what I hope to do. And I hope that people like kind of up and look at it and think, oh, this looks interesting, and I hope that I do a good representation of Minx and her avatar and her playstyle through them, and I just hope I do good advertisement for her. Basically, I hope I help her get some extra views because of, oh, that looked a little bit interesting.
Well, I think I speak from everyone that we are definitely looking forward to seeing both your future art and future thumbnails. So, back in terms of your art, do you ever get frustrated when you see that someone's stolen your art, or do you fear that people will steal your art if you don't,
I mean, people, there will always be art thieves, and in the end, most of these people are kids that don't understand that art is a product and spend a lot of hours on. So I tend to try to not get too angry with them because a lot of people just don't understand. But I do get a lot of my art stolen, and in some cases I do end up tracking them down, and I'll sit them down and tell, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you edit out my signature? Why would you edit on this? Why? And usually they understand it. They don't always get defensive and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a little redeemable quality in those art thieves when it's usually just kids who does not know better. But when people actually start getting profits and shit from your stuff, then fuck them. I'll just report them. And if they do it to my friends, that's almost worse. I can't even deal with it.
Well, we all appreciate your art, and we all definitely are looking forward to seeing your future art and future thumbnails for videos, and just appreciate all that you do. Before I wrap things up, what's your opinion on Minx Fan Club?
There's been, I feel there's been a lot of fan clubs over the time on different social media for Minx and such, but I've never ever seen the kind of dedication you guys are putting into this. I think it's awesome. I love that you're doing these thumbnails, and I love how active you are. I can see, like, even just in my Twitter feed, you guys are going everywhere. You're going crazy. You're reblogging everything, and it's awesome. And I feel like you're actually doing something actively for the community. And I remember last when I watched Shelb's interview, I was like, holy shit, this is such a great idea. And then I was like a little bit, oh god, I kind of hope they do me next. And then you did. So I just feel like, keep doing what you do. I think it's great.
We are happy to have interviewed you.
Yeah. Happy to.
Well, thank you so much. This has been the Twitter interview with Signe, you know what I mean? Signe, you are amazing. I'm so sorry for butchering your name.
It's fine, everybody does it.
Check out next month for who we will be interviewing next time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.